Welcome back to Beards and Brews. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell so you know when we have another one brewing. This week's movie is going to be Joe Dirt. Now, fellas, if this was a garden, would you dig it?
I dig it. Like, this movie gets a lot of hate, I'm sure, but
Oh, it has to.
I think this is one of those movies, honestly, that everyone sees what it is, see what it's about, just go by the name and is like, nope, I'm out. I'm not watching that. It's shitty. No. But if you get into it, I think it's really enjoyable, to be honest.
I think the movie does a really good job of showing you its personality. Like, what was it, like 6 or 8 minutes in? There's a cow that fucking farts fire. I mean,
Yeah.
what you see is what you like. It doesn't try to be a great movie. It most certainly is not. It doesn't even have charm or anything. It's just like, I don't know. There's like gags in it that always make me chuckle, and like anything in between, it really doesn't matter. And seeing that like it's basically just a 90-minute feature, it just flies by.
You don't think this has charm? I think it's got a lot of charm. Joe Dirt himself is charming.
It's not charming in the traditional sense. Then there's something that, like some je ne sais quoi that I'm not even thinking about.
Yeah, this movie 100% only gets by on its charm. And this is David Spade's best movie without Chris Farley attached to his hip.
They try to like insert Chris Farley's brother, like John Farley, late in the movie, and you're just like, huh, man, I missed the big guy.
I didn't know that guy was in there, but whenever the fat dude does go, hey, I heard Buffalo Bob did butt stuff with you, I went, huh, that should be Chris Farley.
Yeah. So to sum up the plot of this movie, so you got Joe Dirt, played by David Spade, and basically he was left at the Grand Canyon by his parents, like while he was 8, for seemingly no reason. And the rest of the movie is basically road trip ahoy to see what the hell happened to him.
Yeah, we get a lot of fun stops, and I like the way they do the narrative for this. It's very clever. Dirt shows up in LA or some stupid shit, and he gets scooped up by a talk show host or radio show host who just happens to see this fucking out of the world eccentric redneck.
We actually have our first introduction to Joe Dirt, so we really know what he's about. We get Sweet Home Alabama playing, just blasting through our speakers. We get to see him riding around, no shirt, ultra fucking mullet in this 69 Dodge Charger that has seen a lot of better days. Driving into this radio station in Hollywood, and like everybody who sees him is just giving him the shit.
Yeah. Like, not to stop you or anything, but that has an old Richard Petty Plymouth with a big ass wing on the back of it that does absolutely nothing for the car's performance. And that fucking thing gets knocked off immediately by some dickhead running a little security shack up front. But yeah, like what Brady said, Joe Dirt's found by this radio DJ, this guy who's out there just like has some show, and it's just fucking Dennis Miller. He's playing Dennis Miller. Like, I don't even know what the fuck his name was.
His name is Xander Kelly, but he is 100% just Dennis Miller.
Yeah, just whatever. He's just his smart ass self. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, he tells him to come in here. He's like, hey, look at this guy in a fucking wig. You are exquisitely pathetic.
Yeah, like, can we just address how everyone in this Dirt universe just gives Joe Dirt shit for no fucking reason? Like, I have never seen some guy walk into town and just be immediately bullied by 100% of the town.
It's an Adam Sandler verse movie, so you gotta have the real beating for the main underdog hero.
That's true. I didn't actually realize it. This is a Happy Madison production. I think Adam Sandler was involved somewhere, an executive producer, I'm sure, of some type. But yeah, and of course, a lot of his best friends are involved here.
Dude, could you imagine if he would have cast himself as Joe Dirt? And be like, oh yeah. Mr. Redneck, skibbity-boo.
There aren't Jewish white trash rednecks.
Well, it's fiction, so we'll deal with it. But further on, just like it just almost takes into the area of like it doesn't make sense. Like these two dudes are at the Dennis Miller's office, probably work for the radio show, and Joe's just caring about his business, and they just immediately just shove the man down. Like, when have you ever worked at a place and just start fucking shoving janitors around?
Yeah, this guy, Joe Dirt, works as a janitor. Seems like this is his life. He just works as janitor. Then he just gets ushered into this radio show, and he's like, hey, tell us your life story.
Now, this is the narrative bit that I was discussing earlier. This is a really good way to tell a story with that, voiceover work with, cutaways. It works really well. And to see Joe Dirt with his mullet wig and then the flashback to him at the Grand Canyon as a little child with the mullet wig, supreme.
Yeah.
Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has this wig because he was born without the top of his skull. So I don't know, one thing led to another, and his mom sewed like a mullet wig on top of his head when he was a baby or something.
So, like, you said you really liked how this movie is basically told in all flashback, or just in a story way. So, are you telling me that Joe Dirt is just like a white trash Princess Bride?
It's like an episode of Family Guy.
No, this is a white trash Citizen Kane.
Oh, fuck.
It's sisters. It's all sisters.
And the
She's
Hemi,
my Rosebud.
no, the Hemi is Rosebud.
Oh, no. But yeah, when we flash back to the Grand Canyon, you have like little kid Joe Dirt, a la the youngest kid from Malcolm in the Middle.
Yep.
He's just this little kid with like a belly shirt and some cowboy boots, and he's just like, man, where's my parents? This is fucking weird.
Yeah, he was dumpster diving for like a can of Copenhagen, not Skull, because that's that dumb shit. It's the Copenhagen.
I gotta say though, the kid from Malcolm in the Middle, in every scene that he's in, he is having a fucking ball and he's knocking it out of the park. Especially like whenever he escapes from juvie and he's going down the railroad tracks.
I was gonna bring up that scene. Yeah.
He was yucking it up. I forgot what song he was listening to, like some hard rock, whatever. And Dennis Miller's like, no. It was more like this. It was like some like pop ballad or whatever, shaking his ass.
He's like, that ain't me. I'm a rocker through and through, baby.
Yep.
I love how every time Joe's masculinity is questioned, he already has like a script ready just to like jump right back at it. It's like, nuh-uh, these are my favorite bands in convenient alphabetical order. AC/DC, Van Halen, not Van Hagar, so on and so forth.
Yeah, because you got to think, like, from the get, he's been shoved, like, face first into shit, so he's got his script down.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the charm that we were trying to figure out in the beginning was that, it doesn't matter how long or how hard his actual face has been shoved in the metaphorical dirt. He has this positive attitude with him, like, 100% of the time.
For sure. Like, ever since, one evening his life changed. He sees a shooting star. He wishes to find out, because, you're supposed to, put a wish on a shooting star when you see it. He wishes to find out what happened to his parents that evening. That's his good luck meteorite now. He starts wheeling it around with him all around town. That's his lucky meteorite.
Yeah, and introduce our next main character, Joe Meteor.
It's a fucking big blue lump. And we get to see David Spade, now played by mature David Spade, walking next to probably some 14-year-olds who are towering over him and bullying him.
He's getting bullied by some middle school kids.
Yeah, I just love when they were introduced because they're on the train tracks, just like putting coins on the tracks so they just get run over. And when the camera pans to them, there's like, oh man, these things are so flat.
But I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I did that shit when I was young because I lived next to the train tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what you think. You're like, look, man, it smashed off fucking Lincoln's face. You can't even see it.
This one smashed real good. But yeah, he takes this meteor walking around with him everywhere. He finds $5. He's like, yeah, hell yeah, it's my lucky day. He takes it down to the burger shack. It's a burger, some onion rings. Starts eating off the meteorite.
He's got his puddle of ketchup there, and he's just fucking hard rubbing the fries in it. It's so good because the first time you watch the movie, you're like, okay, it's a weird rock. Whatever. He's eating off his rock. Okay, cool. And he lugs into town. He's like, I would never sell you, lucky meteor, but let's see how much you're worth. And the guy's like, that's a Boeing bomb. That's a big old clump of frozen shit.
Yeah, it's a hunk of shit that fell out of an airplane. Yep. See the peanut? That's a dead giveaway.
He's so casual about it. And like, as an audience, if you're like, oh, fuck, that's disgusting. He's like, well, yep, that's how it is.
And everybody in the studio's like, you were eating off of it.
Yeah, that's the cutaway thing that I'm talking about that I think works wonderfully for this. Mm-hmm. So they set up like these basic bowling pins and then fucking knock them down with a cutaway to the audience's reaction. And it's really hard not to feel exactly what they're feeling, which is kind of cool because it guides you along the way. It's a fun way to do it.
Yeah, 1 second you'll see like a group of sorority girls or whatever just sitting around listening to the radio because, of course, that's probably what you did in 2001. Just like, hey, get a load of this. And then next you'll see like, I don't know, some ladies in the hair salons doing the same thing. Just like, hey, there's this Joe Dirt fella.
Yeah, it's like a way of just like showing you just like regular America as they hear this like train wreck of a story. But
Right.
like I don't think it made me feel anything. I just know that like most of those cutaways were just basically people just going like, oh.
Yeah. So this town that he's wandered into is Silvertown, and that becomes important. That's going to be like his recurring ideal place. And I guess, during the winter, he would sneak into town and steal hubcaps from cars or whatever, just whatever he needed to do to get by, because at this point he's homeless, I'm assuming.
Yeah. And then I guess fortunately and unfortunately, like he wanders upon this like house when this dog spotted him and he thinks he's busted. It's like, oh no, attack dog or whatever. But then he realizes, wait a minute, dog's nuts are frozen to the porch.
This poor dog's scrotum looks like a fucking Stretch Armstrong.
It looks like a chewed up piece of gum.
It does.
The prosthetic they use for that is flawless because, the dog, they even zoom in on it real good. The dog's trying to stand up, it's fucking stretching like crazy, and the dog's like, goes back down. It's wonderful.
Like, this being a Happy Madison production, you can definitely see where the money's going.
Yeah.
The dog balls?
Look at those dog balls. Ooh, shabba-da-doo.
Shabba-dabba-hoo.
Yeah, so old Joe Dirt goes by being the good person that he is. He's trying to help the dog, and the owner of the house comes out, who we find out her name is Brandy, and is like, oh no, what should I do? I got something for this. Runs back into the house, bring back some garden shears.
And I love his reaction. He's like, what? No, come on.
No, way off. No. Go get some warm water and she's like, a fork? And he's like, yeah, no.
I did enjoy like the little back and forth, but I'm completely distracted by how good looking Brittany Daniels is in this film.
Yeah, this is a gorgeous woman.
They really nailed that like turn of the century Southern woman look. Almost like whatever they tried to do with Jessica Simpson back in the day.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
For sure. But Brittany Daniels is like gun show. Her fucking arms are bigger and more defined than Joe Dirt's.
You're not wrong, yeah. But yeah, get the warm water. Eventually, old Charlie gets his balls free, and then Joe Dirt's made a friend there with Brandy.
Yeah, he's got a buddy until Daddy comes home and fucking scats him away like some cat rummaging through the trash.
Yeah,
shoo.
Yeah, just like out of the kindness of her heart, like, hey, like, you have dinner, let's share it with him because, kind of saved the dog's life per se. And the dad's just like, get out of here.
But, that didn't stop Joe and Brandy from being friends. We have a little montage here, or whatever you'd like to call it, of them hanging out together. They're always wanting to hang out, chilling with Charlie, doing all that stuff. And then this is where we meet fucking Kid Rock's character, right?
Yeah, it's like this dream sequence is interrupted just by this nightmarish Kid Rock character. Like, what the fuck? He just shows up. It's his old Firebird or whatever. And he always has this thing, like, if there's Joe Dirt and he's pulling up on him, he'll, like, run and skid his car to just, like, shoot rocks and dirt and shit at him.
Yeah, like how you would with your bike back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, you'd hit the brakes back and skid out the rocks.
The thing that I noticed is anytime Kid Rock's character shows up, you've got Joe Dirt just living his life, doing his own thing. You've got Doobie Brothers, ooh, listen to the music, playing, something nice and upbeat. And then Kid Rock shows up and it's always the same song, Bachman Turner Overdrives, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just ruins the whole everything.
Can we just talk about Kid Rock in this movie for a second? Because, like, I don't know if he's trying or not. Like, I feel like they were just feeding him lines and they just cut together whatever worked. Because I feel like he was really just, like, almost crying between each line that he had.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, there's something weird with the way he's acting. Like, he's like, You ain't nothing, Dirt. Brandy told me I fucking allergies.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, you dirty Joe Dirt now, because I got dirt on you. I don't know what I'm fucking trying to do, but it's fucking awful.
Now, what if they told him beforehand? It's like, hey, you remember those kids back in junior high whose asses you used to kick? Yeah, act like them.
And then he has like a really hard look into the distance. It was his ass being kicked.
I remember back in prison when I made men bite the pillow like I used to.
So one day, Daddy comes by and he's been drinking. He takes the dog, and Daddy's an asshole. If we haven't cleared that up, Daddy is an asshole. But he's going hunting with this dog. They're walking along the railroad tracks. Daddy's leg gets stuck in the tracks somehow.
Yeah, and instead of him just taking his boot off and getting out of the situation, he's like, "All right, dog, you need to go find Sheriff. Insert name here. I'm in trouble. Go get him." And the dog rushes off to go get help. And like, I guess halfway to help, he just starts shagging another dog. And yeah, sure, funny gag, but this is actually an integral plot point that comes back later on in the movie.
See, and that's what I think is weird yet pleasantly refreshing. Something so small that you're like, it's a throwaway gag. Get out of here. We could have done without that.
Mhm.
Literally comes back as a huge payoff at the end.
Did you say litter? Really?
Ew.
Oh.
And that dog busted a Nuttamaker.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh. Anyway, so Daddy's leg gets amputated.
And it's super quick. Apparently, like, the healthcare system there is 10 out of 10 because, like, he loses the leg, they fix him up, and they send him home all in the same day.
With
Yeah,
his shotgun.
Yeah.
With his shotgun, yeah. Even the sheriff that drops him off is like, "Well, take it easy, bud." Just like, whatever.
And before the sheriff can even get out of there, he's like, "Yep, I'm gonna shoot that dog now. It's all his fault."
Yeah. Now,
Anyway.
they have a little moment under the bridge because apparently they cremated the dog. Brandy is clearly throwing herself at Joe Dirt. Like,
Yeah, no doubt.
and he's like, "I don't get it. I'm a dum-dum. I'm Joe Dirt. Doodly-doo."
Doodly-doo.
She's like, "But what if some other guy asks me to marry him?" And he's like, "Well, what's that got to do with me? We'll always be pals."
Yeah, he basically was like, "Yeah, it's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I gotta go ride in a big tooth. I gotta see you later."
Yeah, so he decides to take off and find his parents. He's on a mission now. He's going to take the old Charlie's remains and he's going to find his parents.
Now, that's silly and everything, but I feel like there's a small missed opportunity of him, like, carrying around a stuffed dog. Like, they had it taxidermied, and that's how it ended up, and he just has to, like, throw it on his back and carry it around.
Like Scrubs?
Yes.
Yeah.
He gets that little job as the, what do you call those guys? Like a town crier?
Yeah, no, he's working for this molar world. I don't know what they do. They sell molars. I don't know. He's just handing out flyers or whatever.
I know this movie is filled with, like, coincidences and just, like, easy stuff. But, like, he rolls on this old lady who has, like, this really, really nice old car. And he's like, "Man, I got, like, $3 in my pocket. And I'm dressed like a tooth. I can't afford such a thing." And the lady's just like, "You know what? He used to be my husband's, but he beat me, so I murdered him. That's okay. Just give me whatever's in your pocket, and it's all yours, sport." It's like, gee whiz, man, thanks.
Yeah, so he's got this awesome badass Hemi now. Except, he's still working at Molar World, and Molar's gonna molar.
Yeah, for sure. And there's a storm brewing.
So why, I got a question. Why is this molar balloon, why is it actually a hot air balloon and not just like something inflatable that you can tie down?
Because then the second half of the movie wouldn't happen.
I guess. So his boss tells him, like, "Hey, get up to the balloon and fill it full of bricks. There's a storm coming. You don't want the wind to carry it away." And you know what happens here. He goes up there and ends up getting taken away by the balloon, which is not powered at all. It's just getting taken away by wind. So he travels several other states across the United States to North Dakota or South Dakota, somewhere, in this non-powered balloon.
We forgot a little bit, like, before he gets to North Dakota or whatever, like, he passes by a really bad green screen effect, and it's just like this fucking plane. The pilots are, like, looking at this tooth like, what the fuck? And it's passing by, they fucking moon him. I'm just like, what? what fucking throwaway bit this is.
Well, if that happened to me, first, as a pilot, I'd be like, he's not supposed to be up this high. Second of all, I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll show him my ass.
I just love that's how your go-to number 2 solution for most things now. It's like, that didn't work. Better show my ass.
Well, we're not to number 2, but if I show my ass for much longer, we might see a number 2.
Now, he wrecks his balloon into an oil rig and has a Wild Wild West fall of about 80 feet onto, like, some wood and is fine.
He does get into a fist fight here in a little bit, and, like, he gets basically thrown like a lawn dart, and he's like, no, it's okay, my neck broke my fall.
This fucking guy. He's making $360 a week at an oil rig, and he's real happy about it, but as soon as he's, like, getting upbeat about it, he gets fired and beat up by Sabretooth.
Yeah, conveniently, he was getting paid $360 a week, which is exactly how much he needs to get his parents' likenesses drawn by a sketch artist.
Yeah, that was a bit we skipped over. So the lady that he got the car from, very briefly, the husband that she murdered was a police sketch artist. So like her idea was like, hey, whatever you can remember what they look like, just give that to a police sketch artist, and they can just work their magic, and you can probably find who they are.
Yeah. So after he gets his ass beat, he takes that money and gets a sketch artist to sketch him out. But the sketches don't work out because he's got, like, the mom looks like Minnie Mouse and the fucking dad is the Zodiac killer.
No. The mom looks like Richard Ramirez.
Oh,
the original Night
looks like Father Time.
No, but now he ends up down New Mexico way on a reservation at a fireworks stand.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened here, how he got to the Southwest, but he runs into, that's right, he was going to find a Native American tracker.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, like, while they were writing the screenplay, and you're like, you know what would be funny? Casual racism. Let's just get that jotted in. Of course, he just finds some just random bloke at a fireworks stand, question mark, because, like, he doesn't have any of the good stuff or anything. No whistling bungholes, no lean splitters, whisker biscuits, honky lighters, Husker do's, Husker don'ts, cherry bombs, Nipsey daisers, with or without the scooter stick, or one single whistling kitty chaser? And the guy's just like, no, I just got snakes, motherfucker.
By the way, can we just acknowledge the fact that this guy has named himself Kicking Wing?
It's pretty fucking cool.
Hell yeah. But it turns out that he may not have whistling bungholes, Husker do's, Husker don'ts, but he does have 2 Roman candles and a whole lot of lighter fluid. There's also like a little bit where they're sitting there looking at the snake, quote unquote, burn, and it's so fizzling out.
It's a shame.
Fucking coming out, twisting around, looking a mess, and he's like, nobody wants one of these little charcoal worms.
Worms? I got a worm here for you. It's not even my dick. What I've got here today from New Glory Craft Brewery out of Sacramento, California. This is Gummy Worms. They label it a chewy pale ale. I have no idea what this is about, but I'm intrigued in anything that labels itself a chewy pale ale. It doesn't pour chewy looking, I'll just say that. We'll see.
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, is one of, like, the little descriptors just, like, viscous?
Yeah, I'm reading the description now, and it says something about Citra and Amarillo hops for all of those sweet candied pineapple and fruit notes reminiscent of our favorite Fummy candies. That's a typo, you guys. You got a typo on your can.
Oh,
that says
no.
Fummy. We've got a fairly hazy pour here with a nice little foamy head on there. It does smell fruity, I'll give them that. Little pineapple note. It doesn't taste chewy. There's nothing chewy about that. Yeah, honestly, this is like a New England style, like a hazy pale ale. There's nothing crazy or candy-like or fruity about it. Like, I mean, it is fruity. You've got pineapple and like grapefruit, mango notes, like a normal hazy pale ale would have. It's good. It's definitely good. This is a good beer. But I feel like they went a little bit hard in the novelty department because this isn't anything having to do with gummy worms, or it's not chewy or anything like that. The can has all kinds of gummy worms and stuff on it. This is just a good beer.
I just don't like that it says chewy in the description.
Yeah, it's a little off-putting for sure.
It is, yeah. But no, it's quite good. You know what's not good is filling a barrel full of lighter fluid and then shooting fucking Roman candles into it.
No, that sounds like great fun. No, what's
It
not
does,
good?
honestly.
What's not good is accidentally killing your friend in a thermonuclear blast.
Yeah, they end up finding some gasoline and they're like, let's do that instead. We got to take a couple steps back on this. And they end up tripping over a what looks like a nuke, I assume. I don't know what a nuke actually looks like, but this looks like a big ass bomb.
Yeah,
And
it's just about right.
Man, oh man, is there like a payoff here? So they dig up this fucking. It literally looks like some sort of missile, and it's got a
Yeah.
biohazard sticker on it. And he's like, "I got a fucking goddamn plan." His plan is to go to the Grand Canyon with this bomb and threaten to blow himself and everyone else up if he doesn't get the information. And
He
the
straps
payoff,
it to his fucking back.
Yeah. I just love that little interaction between the two fellas there. It's just like, oh, this is a neutron bomb. We got to give this to authorities. Like, you're right. 1 second, and just hard cuts to them just like launching Roman candles at it.
But what if instead of turning it over to authorities, what if I strapped it on my back and, held this company hostage for their records?
Oh man, just the rapport that Joe Dirt has to all, like, I guess the tourists in the area or whatever, just trying to get him to do whatever. It's like, you old man, go in the back and get me all the records to July 3rd, 1979. Get out here, go do it. And you over there, girl, you show me them boobies or we go boom.
And Dennis Miller, we clap back to Dennis Miller still in the studio, and he's like, "So you're not gay? We had been wondering. You were ignoring Brandy." And then we get a cut to like the cast of Baywatch or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, he sounds sexy."
But he is definitely not. And I love that he says, well, when the cops showed up, they knew immediately what it was. It wasn't a bomb. It was a septic tank from an old RV. Some kids had slapped a biohazard, the band's fucking sticker on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And instead of just like, getting him out of there, maybe taking him to jail for questioning, the fucking cop takes that hammer and just knocks the top off of it, and he just gets rinsed and fucking shit.
It just keeps coming, like it's plopping out of the top, just like plop, 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 plop.
It's one of my favorite bits because even David Spade's like, how much is in there?
And how is it coming at, like, I get that there's only one opening, so it's sort of being like suctioned out, but like, goddamn.
Yeah, it's the most pudding dookie you'll ever see. It hard cuts again to him just like in this old rural shower. And he's like, I got the poopy on me.
That was one of the funniest fucking lines. He's like, I got the poopy. Oh.
Yeah, so Dennis Miller is like, all right, this story is incredible. I need you back here tomorrow. You need to be back here, same time, tomorrow. We're signing off for the day.
Yeah, same dirt time, same dirt channel. And they have like a way of describing him that I thought was really good. Unrelentingly upbeat.
Yeah. That's like I mentioned earlier, like no matter what happens, how much dookie came out of that little cistern thing or whatever, like he's still digging it.
Yeah, life's a garden, man. Dig it.
Joe goes back to cleaning, and we get some Dave Matthews Band. That's how upbeat he is, not even feeling the Van Halen anymore. He wants some good old DMB.
That I thought was like a super weird pick because we went from like 70s rock to Dave Matthews.
Yeah. You'll find that with a lot of like Sandler verse movies where like the soundtrack is just everything is just licensed and it doesn't even matter if it makes sense. It's like, well, we bought it.
But this is when we find out that he's actually living in the boiler room under the studios, which leads me to ask where he was coming from when he drove into the studio.
Carl's Jr.
Fair enough. All right. I actually know that neighborhood. I don't know about the Carl's Jr. There is an Arby's very close to there.
Hey, they have the meats. Sponsors.
For sure, sponsor us.
I like me some Arby's.
Those mozzarella sticks. Oof.
His day 2 on the radio is him saying farewell to Kicking Wing and hitchhiking his way cross country until he gets picked up by a traveling carnival. And here we get to see the most, to me anyways, I've always thought this. Jamie Presley is the perfect example of white trash gone right.
100%. She is a white trash smoke show.
Hashtag trashy boner.
Yeah, like, and there she is, just being overly trashy yet stunningly beautiful. And for whatever reason, she's super into gross Dirte Carney style.
Well,
Oh,
he's standing there running the rides with no shirt on, just posing like a fucking Playboy model or something, just like stretched all back there, and she's just there giving him the eye, like eating the cotton candy, just mind fucking him.
It's a great little bit because you got like George Thorogood blasting in the background. He's voguing around all trashy and shit. And what made me fucking gag was like he runs his hand down like his chest and he has this like happy trail that's way too fucking bushy for no fucking reason.
yeah, it's just so thick. And there's nothing attractive about the way that David Spade is moving his body and smoking that cigarette. But then it cuts to them, and he's giving the little kid a free ride to kind of get in her good graces. And
No, I
she's
think
got-
it's to get him out of the way. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I want to talk to the lady friend. I don't know if it's your sister or your mom or whatever she is, but you go away for a second. I'm gonna talk to her.
But she's totally into it, like
Mhm.
way too into it. Like I forget what the like he has that little bit of he has that line where it's like, hey, if I said you had a good body, would you hold it against me? And she's like, that'd be a big 10-4.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm picking up my Hemi tonight. If you want to go for a little spin.
And of course, her being the redneck fucking messiah of beauty, she's like, oh yeah, I want to go for a ride.
I love and hate how like when he mentions that he's gonna go pick up his Hemi car, she has like, did you say a Hemi with like a little bit of a lip twitch and everything? I was like, goodness gracious.
She has a little clit shiver.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's like some panty pudding being developed.
I don't know. After the whole bomb thing, I don't want to hear the word pudding anymore.
Ooh. It's okay. This time it's tapioca.
It's got the chunks.
Oh, it does. Yeah, so he
Oh,
goes
cool.
to get his car. It's going to be $3,600. He doesn't have $3,600, but we do get a nice little appearance, little cameo from Kevin Nealon.
Yeah, he's just there.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck is this, UNICEF?
Yeah, I guess he just wanted to be in here, and Adam Sandler, David Spade's like, yeah, that sounds good. Just stand there.
I mean, when it comes to these movies, I feel like half the cast is basically just like Adam bringing up like, shoo-ba-doo-hoo, you want to make a couple of dollars? Hoo-da-hoo. And they just like, yeah, bud, no problem. I'm not doing anything, playing cacky sack, whatever.
We're making a movie, and I know you. Do you want to be in it?
I'm just wondering where Rob Schneider was during the did he have something else in his schedule? Could he not make it?
Rob Schneider was the stable.
Is that another line from that Metallica and Lou Reed album? No, swing and a miss. All right.
No, I get it. I just like, that's the fucking Travis.
I am the table.
Now, he goes to pick up the Hemi, can't get it, so instead he buys Roadkill from Twisted Metal.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's a reference.
Yeah, this is where he ends up with that 69 Charger, which is like 40% Bondo.
Yeah, for sure. It's just like made up of like other Plymouth parts, and it's just like whatever. But he's smooth about it. Like he shows up picking up fucking White Trash Princess, and he's just like, yeah, the Hemi needs like a fucking foot-shaped pedal put in in the shop.
He's like, but I stole this heap. And she's like, oh, my outlaw.
My little outlaw.
And their first date is basically just where he works.
Yeah, and where she just was earlier in the day is like, it's real nice that you took me out on a date, but, I was already here.
But that doesn't matter because he gets to go and bang her.
Oh yeah, 100%. And like, this is one of like the weirdest parts of the movie. So like Joe Dirt has this like really weird eureka moment where like he kind of suspects that like she's his sister, and like he just like leaves her at the place, and he's like screaming at himself in the mirror. He's like, she's your sister, and you just called her hot. You're a fucking freako white trash dude.
Yeah, like they get to talking a little bit, and we get to find out that she doesn't have a family either. Like she did have a brother. So I don't know. One thing leads to another in that Joe Dirt brain of his, and that's definitely his sister.
The best part about that is that he goes back to the trailer to tell her, fucks her, and then tells her afterwards.
Yeah. Like that was great and all, but I think you're my sister. And then she's just like, no, it's not right. Like this and that. Like that doesn't add up. So like I'm not actually your sister. He's like, oh, got it. He's like, yeah, round number 2. And it's just like, wham.
Yeah, ready for round number 2. He can't get it up. She's like, would it help if you thought that I was your sister again?
Ew, what do you think I am? Some kind of white trash degenerate? And then the best hard cut ever. It's just him knocking her boots so hard the cabin's shaking. And she's
I'm your sister. I'm your sister.
Yeah. It's so bad. And once more, we cut to like everybody around the United States being like, oh, damn, man.
He makes sure to add, I just threw that last bit in there for fun.
Yeah, for the ratings.
Yeah, I don't think that was for fun. In my head canon, that's what really happened.
Oh, just like how Sabretooth caught on fire and he made out with that random chick at the oil derrick.
Keep this Copenhagen, baby. And she's like...
We've far surpassed this, but fucking the guy catching on fire is such a ridiculous scene. Like, there's a pile of something there on fire back at the oil rig, and he's just like gonna piss on it. And the fire travels up his line of piss to catch himself on fire.
Makes no sense. Like, the man is in fact covered in oil, but there's no reason for the fire to go up his urine.
No. Anyway, let's press on.
The next little thing that we get treated to is him leaving a message to Brandy, talking about, Brandy, I miss you, blah, 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 blah. I'm gonna, keep out here doing my thing. I miss you. And day 3 happens.
Yep,
Yeah.
wants him back for one more day.
But by this time, like, he has the entire nation just enamored. Everybody's paying attention.
Yeah, and this is the worst time for them to be enamored because he shares a story of Buffalo Bob, which is a direct reference and ripoff of Silence of the Lambs.
It's exactly
Buffalo
what you
Bill.
think it is.
It's kind of weird because, like, in school, your teachers are always just like, hey, the definition just can't be the word itself. But this is such a Joe Dirt moment. He gets fucking stuck in the hole. And the guy's like, it puts the lotion on its skin, so on and so forth. It's like, yeah, whatever, man. Where's my fucking auto trader?
Yeah, that's a good one.
He's got fucking Buffalo Bob up there just pissed off. He's like, fine, here, God, just shut up. And he's like, yeah, I get it. Lotion on the skin, man, dang.
Just in the nick of time, the police come in, they have the place surrounded. And like one little throwaway line that I've been repeating for the last 20 years. I didn't know where it came from, but now I do. It's just in this redneck voice. I hear people.
Yeah. I love afterwards how, like, the reason why he's there, by the way, is so he can find some pictures of his parents at the Grand Canyon when he was there forever ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how casual the cop is, telling him all this stuff that was going to happen to him if they hadn't busted down the door and arrested this guy. He would have ripped off all your skin and worn it like a Joe Dirt coat. And Joe Dirt's just like, yeah, that's fucking weird. Hey, you see this picture? These asses might be my parents. It's almost like that Jeremy Clarkson meme. He's like, huh, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, so, he sees this picture that has, like, maybe his parents, Louisiana plates on the car. All right, next stop, Louisiana, going to the bayou.
There we go.
Yeah, so he gets a job as a janitor at this school, and this is where we meet one of the fucking gems of this film. Christopher Walken plays another janitor, question mark?
He's just Chris Walken.
Yeah, he's just
For
being
sure.
himself. And he's laying his New York whatever accent on pretty thick. And even Joe Dirt's just like, hey, are you from around here or anything? Because it sounds like you're from New York or whatever. Like, no, I'm from around here. Well, not here, but over there. It's close to here.
I'm from here, born and raised. No, not here, Kansas. I'm from Kansas.
I
And
was
be like-
born, raised in Kansas. My wife was killed in New York. I mean, Kansas. She was shot 6 times.
And once more, he's just like, yeah, anyways, let me go clean up some puke or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of And I'm going to say, actually, my most memorable Chris Walken line is from this movie. I
Yes,
don't know
it
that it
is.
might be like referenced somewhere else. I feel like it's everywhere at this point. But, he's doing his janitor thing, walking by. He sees like a fire extinguisher on the wall and he just decides to start talking to it. I hope to God this was ad libbed.
Yeah, me too. Because it's such a great moment. Because like it's just one of those things. If you're by yourself, you're just like goofing off or whatever. And given what we learn about this character later in the movie, he's just like, "Hey, looking at me all wrong. Do it again. Stab you in the face. Siding iron."
And he's like slapping the little emergency fire escape box or whatever that is.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the kid in the classroom right next to him is trying to make water or something, but he ends
So,
up making
some kind
like
of
mustard gas.
Ice. He says,
Ice.
"My calculations are correct. This will be ice." Oh no! Deadly mustard gas.
yeah, and he just falls down.
Yeah, this is one of the more ridiculous sections, but uh, maybe one of my favorite in the whole film because you got the Christopher Walken, and this is just a solid
Yeah.
part.
He's tap dancing out in the hallway when all this happens, and he busts in, rescues all the children. While they're being saved, in the meantime, fucking Adam Sandler's in the lunchroom getting shabba dude with hot dogs.
I don't know. The only reason why that scene exists is so that he could be far away from Christopher Walken when this happens.
Yeah,
Yeah. And they come running down the hall, and Christopher Walken has just saved these kids, and they're like, "Glenn," which is the character's name. They're like, "Glenn saved us," and the kid's pointing at Christopher Walken. He says, "Shut up!" and slaps his hand over towards Joe Dirt. He
No.
goes, "Hey, hero."
it wasn't me. It was this guy. It was Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt.
He's so aggressive in this. He's like, "No, that's your guy. That's Joe Dirt. He saved the day." And they're like,
And they start like a Joe Dirt chant, and there's a really weird, like, immediate cut to him outside with a press conference.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if you save a bunch of kids, there's a press conference after. But Joe Dirt does take the time to say, "Hey, I appreciate it, but it wasn't me that saved all those kids. It was fucking Christopher Walken."
"Yeah, but hey, if you have any news about my parents, please call my 1-200 Joe Dirt number."
1-200 Joe Dirt. Brandy's going to answer. Just leave a message.
It's a lot
Yeah.
cheaper than an 800 or 900 number. Do they still have 900 numbers? Is that a thing?
I thought the 900 numbers were like exclusively like those talk dirty numbers.
I think well, we don't need to get into this, but I think it's any like pay number, or it was. I don't know that those still
Oh.
exist.
Just 1-900 fucking Cleo or whatever her name was.
Call 1-800-MIX-A-LOT.
And kick those nasty thoughts. Baby got back. LA face with the Oakland booty.
There we go. Now, him being the generous man he is and giving Glenn the credit is what inevitably, quote unquote, leads to Glenn's demise as the mob shows up to whack him.
And this is actually a very well done moment. It's almost like it could have been in Goodfellas or whatever. You have that like fucking classical music and a bunch of just like mafiosos show up with a bunch of guns. Like, "Hey, you shoot him low, you shoot him high, I'll shoot for the middle. Let's go." And they break down his door, and it's like all one fluid shot. There's like gunfire going places, and you see like the silhouettes of the people in the house just getting lit the fuck up.
One of the more, I guess, respectable scenes in the film. And Joe Dirte shows up. He's like, "Oh my God, Glenn, no, you're dead. Oh no, let me tell you about your wife's luscious breasts and round ass." And Glenn is under the fucking sheet like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you're doing this to me. My erection, look at it, it's huge."
Stop! I'm getting a boner under this death blanket.
And they're just super cool, just having a chat, just while Christopher Walken has a hard on.
He's got his smokes and lighter right next to his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we find out he was in witness protection. They're going to ship him off to somewhere else. I guess badass Christopher Walken ended up clipping all of those guys that came in on him. So everything ended up okay.
Yeah, everything's Millhouse, and Christopher Walken, before he's wheeled away, just has this fucking throwaway line. Just, movies got a movie one kind of materials. Like, "That car, your parents' car's very rare. Only like 3 people ever own that car. You should find out whose names are on it." and gets sent straight to like a dealership, and they're just like, "Yeah, we'll help you out. I totally heard what happened with that Buffalo Bob dude, and I put some up your bunghole." Ooh, wow.
I don't know why people keep bringing that up. Nothing happened, man.
He's so adamant that he wasn't like molested or raped in any way, shape, or form, and that's really good. Now he's going on down to Baton Rouge, but before he gets there, he's got to get another job. And
This is where he gets
a
a job at the Gator Farm.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a bit at the very beginning of the scene where he has a chat with the owner of the establishment, and she's just so aggressively passive aggressive about how much she hates this fucking joint.
Aggressively passive aggressive. All right.
Yeah, she's just like, it's like my parents used to run this joint, but they ain't around no more because these fucking crocodiles, and just, I wish I could burn this place to the ground. And
Yeah, you're not wrong. That's pretty much how she is. Yeah. So Joe Dirt's running this gator exhibit where he's like, putting his hand in a croc's mouth or whatever. Then he puts his head, like his whole torso, in there, and is like, "Look what I can do, kids." Then bad things happen to him.
He's like,
Slapstick City.
yeah, I'm a bit of a crocophile. Don't try this at home. Rocky knows who's the king. Me. Rocky, no! Ah!
And that's the end of Joe Dirt. He was mauled to death on that day. Rest in peace, Joe Dirte.
Oh no! The rest of the movie is just like those fleeting moments in his brain before it dies.
Yeah, but he
Plain
does have
stuff.
like a little he passes out and wakes back up, and he's like, "I'm like a cartoon. All I'm seeing is tweet, tweet, tweet." Then he has a vision. He has a vision of his sister in the back of the car, on that day at the Grand Canyon. That's why they named you Joe Dirt instead of Nunamaker.
Light bulb.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Nunamaker.
What kind of fucking name is that anyway? Did they just like, okay, I felt like Adam Sandler, whoever fucking put this together, just like going through like lists of names and what's the most ridiculous thing they could find.
I think it's German. We don't want to offend our German audience.
Oh,
We've seen what happens when they're offended.
Sorry, Hans.
Hans. Booby.
Booby.
No. Home, where am I again?
Yeah, this is another one of those lines that, like, honestly, I thought it was from Waterboy just because, it's basically the same character. And, he ends up finding his parents' house, wanders up to it in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Nobody's home. A guy walks by with this, like, thick Creole fucking Bayou accent. I'm pretty sure this guy is in The Waterboy. I can't remember him, but I'm sure he's there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the fellas helping the guys out on the sideline or whatever.
That's right.
I think the last scene that he's in that movie is just him just rubbing his nipples so they can make a touchdown.
They move. What do you mean? 15 years ago, they move. Well, he's like, well, I got to find my home. Home is where you make it.
You like to see homos naked?
Oh, man, home is where you make it.
Yeah, hey, cool with me. You like to see homos naked. You do you, boo.
Everybody know that. Home is where you make it.
And I love whenever he's like done talking to him and frustrated, he's like, God damn, boy.
And even with all that, he still doesn't get it. Like, he saunters off thinking that he's made his point, and then Joder's like, huh, guess that guy likes to see homos naked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he has like that little aha moment that Brandy is his home, and he calls and tells her that he's on his way. But guess what? Mean old sandwich eating Kid Rock embraced that message.
And
Fucking
we haven't
Kid Rock
really
is
talked
PETA.
about Kid Rock as a character because there's no need to.
Yeah.
His name is Robbie in the movie, but I am determined that this is just Kid Rock. He's not
100.
acting.
Yeah, 100%. Because, like I said earlier, they're just like feeding him lines, and whatever he got right, they kept.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so
we get a little bit of that in the movie, like him trying to read.
Yeah, he does read on like a second, maybe third grade level.
Syllable.
But what can you expect from the guy who wrote the masterful lyrics, "Ba with the ba, the bang da dang diggy diggy. Diggy said the boogie, said jump the boogie."
Ah.
oh, you boogie, oh, yeah, boogie, yeah, you boogie. Sorry, that's Static X.
That's the kind of shit that just like turns into like a religion later on.
The religion of the ba with the ba.
Yeah, just like boogie.
That was good. That was good. So Joe Dirt comes back and he's got this letter from Brandy, just in case Joe Dirt did come back. Dear Robbie, if Joe Dirt calls, don't tell him I found his parents. I'll be back in a few days. Love, Brandy.
XO. XO.
And everybody is just thinking, like, okay, fucking Kid Rock just wrote this like he wrote the lyrics to fucking Cowboy.
Yeah. And fucking Joe Dirt's all tearing up in his amazing yellow acid wash jeans. And as he's trying to storm away, he's like, that's right, you better run into town and get you a Weineken.
Go to McDonald's, get you a Wham burger, some French fries.
Like, that is his genius moment. The fucking
works.
French fries. Yeah.
Mr. Xander Kelly doesn't buy this. He's like, we're going to call Brandy on air. And she's like, Joe, your
They
parents
get
are
her
dead.
on the phone like that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And parents are dead. Joe's like, oh, I'm heartbroken, but now I'm a celebrity.
There was a little bit of a somber moment. Like, the movie kind of skidded to a halt for a minute. It's like, Joe, your parents are dead. And Tom Mix wept.
Oh, nice.
They died on that day in the Grand Canyon in a hit and run. Come home. All right, so he starts running home and he gets outside and yeah, he is instant celebrity. There's tons of fans and like news crews and everything. This is where he gets on the cover of magazines and tabloids and as you said, he's with Carson Daly on TRL. He's a big star now.
Yeah, he likes the window, huh?
Hey, Eric, Joe Dirt's parents died that day. Adam Sandler wept.
Boo-hoo, shabba-doo.
Oh.
While on air on this TRL with Carson Daly, he's answering all these dumb questions about his hair and such, but somebody calls in, they're like, I'm your mama and your papa. And they say some line.
I'm both of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like this androgynous person just in a trailer park somewhere.
But he just winds up in California in a trailer park and knocking on the door, they open it up, and it's my man Fred Ward.
No. His parents are Val and Earl.
Well, Earl at least. It's what he did after he got out of Perfection Valley.
Oh, no.
Now, the parents at first are just, kind of using him and trying to be like all friendly to be like, oh yeah, we're going to get famous off of you, boy. And then they realize, or Joe realizes, that they left him there on purpose. They even fucking admit it. And he goes on this like clown carnage rampage.
Yeah, I guess they're wanting to like use him and his publicity to sell their assorted clown stuff. They bought a domain, clown.com. Just lots of clown stuff.
Yeah, it's extra just like odd. Cause like, his mom just like this fucking ratty old woman. It's like, hey, don't have a frown. Look at a clown.
And Joe's like, well, why didn't you look for me? Where were you? I was in that garbage can, right next to where you left me. Is that where you were? That's the only place we didn't look.
Well, after they admit it, he like kicks the joint over and whatever, storms
The
out.
whole
all
joint
the
over.
Yeah, and then they're a little upset, but like they're extra upset when the media leaves, and his dad's like, Joe Dirt, you're grounded.
That's such a good line. Like, it fucking matters.
Yeah. And of course, he's so upset by this. He goes to that fucking famous bridge on the LA River. Like, a ton of movies that film there. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to end it all.
By the way, like, it clearly shows if he jumps from here, like, he might break some legs. He's not going to die. That's like 25 feet down at most.
Yeah, I mean, if he
Two
loses
stories.
a leg. Yeah, I mean, if he winds up losing a leg, all you got to do is shoot a dog, I guess.
Damn, you ain't wrong.
But like the cops are there trying to like talk him down from the ledge, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna do it." Then Brandy shows up.
Yeah, and can we just point out what cops are there? There's like one of everything. There's a dude on a horse, like reading a lasso and everything. There's like a guy that's been in like, there's like one SWAT guy, one regular beat cop. There's like whatever costume Adam Sandler had on set that day, they just fucking used. There's like, don't worry about it.
You got the rabbi cop over there.
Oh, it's just all the spare cops from Last Action Hero.
Exactly.
And Brandy shows up in that cab, like you were saying. Where the fuck? Like, did she drive that? Like, take the cab all the way from wherever she was at? I mean,
an Uber would have been way more expensive, I feel like. So,
I wouldn't think about it.
I
now
don't know.
she's like, "Come home with me. I love you." And he's like, "Okay, let's have babies." And then he gets lassoed and bungees. And it's stupid at first until he smashes his head under the bridge, and you go, "Okay."
No, it's still stupid because like he's
Yeah.
falling downward, then he like, he's like in the reverse direction. He smashes his head. You're just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Old fucking John Wayne cowboy has a bungee rope.
That was Tom Mix.
Luckily, Joe Dirt even survived from that.
But you know what? The movie has to wrap up really quick for whatever reason. I feel like that happens a lot in the movies we watch. So like hard cut back to Silvertown, and he's like laying in the bed, his head all bandaged up and everything, and his whole new family's surrounding him, and they're all, congregated at the perfect time for when he wakes up.
Yeah, you've got Brandy there. You've got Kicking Wing. You got Glenn, Christopher Walken's character, and the lady from the Gator place. All the people that he's encountered that's actually treated him right.
Yeah. And guess what? He's got a new hairstyle. They unveil it, and he is now Jonathan Dirt of Korn.
No, okay, listen. Another missed opportunity. So, like, the bandage is just like the top of his head, right? Where he got it bashed on the bridge. I feel like when they unwrapped just the top of his head, it should have just been John Stamos.
It's just something ridiculous.
Yeah, just like hard cut to a different actor. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, somebody that's like maybe a little bit trashy, but way more attractive.
Oh, what would that be? Like, what's that
Billy
dude that
Bob.
played in maybe I'm thinking, what's that dude's name from My Name Is Earl? Jason, what's his name?
Jason Lee.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right,
Alvin.
All right, we'll move on.
So everything gets wrapped up. You got fucking Joe Dirt with his braids.
He's on his way to fucking Bonnaroo.
He jumps in the Hemi with his new dog pup payoff from earlier.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're
Got one
gonna-
of the puppies from Charlie's little interaction earlier.
And they don't even give it a new name. This is just Charlie 2.
That's a solid name to me.
Whatever.
But it's not Charlie 2 as in TWO, it's TOO as in also.
Ah, okay. All right.
But yeah, this is pretty much just where it ends. We find out Kicking Wing has like 30 fireworks stands filled with the good stuff now. It funds his animal shelter. You got the lady from the Gator stand or the Gator Park, whatever it is. Well, she's married to Christopher Walken now. Everything's wrapped up in a tight little bundle. It's a good time.
Yeah, even Kid Rock gets his comeuppance. He tries to race him in the new Hemi, and he gets fucking blackballed immediately. And it's okay. Don't worry about him. It's not his fault. He can't read.
He can read. It's just on like a second grade level. The Detroit public school system is pretty lackluster.
It's just RoboCop.
All right, children. Today, I'm gonna shoot you in the dick.
We have a guest speaker today. Good junk, good junk, good junk.
Dead or alive, you're getting a B.
Beautiful, yeah. So, as just like a whole picture, this movie is like the guiltiest of pleasures. It's not great, barely even good, but it's hilarious. Like, the bits are what hold this movie up. Like, David Spade is the most tolerable I've seen him in movies, besides like maybe Tommy Boy or whatever.
Tommy Boy and Black Sheep, yeah.
Man, Black Sheep's a little rough for me.
Okay.
Even if I love Chris Farley, but man, that's just like such a copy paste movie. It's almost like an Adam Sandler movie that's just not a cynical waste of time. Like, you can clearly see like this is an idea and not an excuse for a vacation.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that you just said. It is 100% a guilty pleasure, but you shouldn't feel guilty about it. I think the comedy just like keeps coming and coming. It's not a good movie. Like you said, this is not a work of art, but it's a work of fun. It's a bunch of guys who got together and are like, hey, I got this idea. You want to fuck around with it? Find out. And that's what happened. And it's just really enjoyable.
It's an upbeat underdog story. It's funny, it's sweet at times, it's hard to tease because the movie fucking really gives itself the business throughout. I got no real negatives for it other than maybe, I don't know. I guess there are no real negatives for me.
Well, there you have it. It's Joe Dierte. If you have any strong feelings about the movie or the show, leave it in the comment section below.
Hit that like and subscribe button. Be sure to hit that little bell icon too. If you don't, I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron.
You've been listening to our podcast all wrong. Get out there, follow us on social media. We got Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, Twitter. You can find us now thanks to the Anchor app on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Give us a listen. If you don't, we'll pull up in a Hemi and slap a mullet wig on you.